G'day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm on my morning walk. It's actually cold right now compared to my last time I did this, and it was very hot. So Adelaide's always bringing the great consistent weather. In this video I wanted to talk about something Tai Lopez talked about in one of his TED Talks, and I think it's one of his main principles that he talks about. It's the law of 33%. So the law of 33%, he basically says that most of the time we spend almost 100% of our time with people who are below our current situation or are in our current situation, whether that be financially, in terms of health, in terms of anything really, in business, whatever it is. But he says you've got to apply the law of 33%, which means you have to spend 33% of your time, so a third of your time, with people who are below your current situation. Doesn't mean they're lesser of a person, it just means that for whatever reason, their health, they're just below you in terms of whatever it is, health, finances, business, whatever it is. You have to spend 33% of your time, so the next third, with people who are at your level. So that could be your acquaintances, your friends, if they're on the same level doing the same thing. And then you have to spend a third of your time with the people who are above your level. People on the next level, people who have reached new levels of success, people that you might aspire to be like, people who could be your mentors, they could be, the successful people in society, whoever it is. So yeah, I think most of the time we spend almost 100% of our time with people who are below our current situation or at our current situation. And what that really does is it paints sort of crossing the road, don't want to get run over again. It sort of paints it instills a mindset where we're being surrounded by, either mediocrity or just complacency, because people at your current level, most of the time, they're quite complacent. They're not really striving for more, and except for the very few exceptions. So I think if you're spending most of your time with them, it's not really there's no real drive to push forward. There's no real incentive to do more. You're not really being surrounded by that big think. You're not really being surrounded by people that want to elevate you, people that are looking at your current situation and thinking, it's so easy to get to the next level, why haven't you done it yet? And that really pushes you to get there. So, I think, what's the common saying? It's, you're the product of the 5 friends you spend your time around, or something like that. And basically that relates for all people you're around. If you're around people who are in your current situation, or people who are below your current situation 100% of the time, then that's why you're not really going to strive for more. That's why you're not really incentivized. That's why you probably don't have big goals or huge ambitions, because there's no one really there to instill those big ambitions or those big goals or to help you get there. There's no one there to drive you to push forward to do more. So if you're this is what I sort of came to a bit of a realization when I started thinking a bit larger, started setting bigger goals. I thought, well, and there's lots of talk around, if you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't going to elevate you, then you're going to stay the same. And so I thought, well, I've got to change this. I've got to spend, and then I saw Tai Lopez's TED Talk, and I thought, I've got to spend more of my time around people that are above me or are going to elevate me. And you can't always do that, because they might not always be local, especially, the people you aspire to be like, your mentors, whoever it is, they might be overseas. So the way you surround yourself with them is by investing in their programs, doing coaching with them. So spending your time, I talked about this in the last video, just going out and buying their success, spending time and being in front of them, being with them, asking them questions, doing anything to tap into a bit of their knowledge, because if you can get that, that's so valuable. Plus, if you can aim to spend a third or even more than a third of your time around them, with them, learning from them, then all of a sudden their sort of big think and their ambitions and goals and their drive, some of it's going to transfer onto you. It's going to sprinkle a little bit onto you, and then you're going to start to realize how much of a blue ocean everything is, how much opportunity there is. And that's something you don't really get when you're surrounded by the other 60%. You don't really get that as much, especially the lower 33%, because most of the time they're the people that are trying to pull you down. They're not letting you get to the next level. So yeah, the rule of 33%, so basically the rule of thirds, definitely have to think about who you're spending your time with, and what are you doing to get in front of that 33%, because most of the time we neglect that. We don't spend our money or exert our energy to get in front of people who are going to elevate us, who are going to take us to the next level. So just have a think about who you're spending your time with, And how can you get in front of that top 33%? How can you get in front of the people that you know are going to elevate you, that are going, sorry, let's do it again. You know, the people that you know are going to take you to the next level, how can you get in front of them? Because once you do, then you'll start to see some really obvious changes in mindset, some really obvious changes in, you know, how you're thinking, what you're doing, your drive, your motivation, whatever it is. You'll see some big changes. So how I think about that, I'm always trying to think about that and, you know, have a look at how are you spending your time, how you allocate it between those 3/3. So it's gonna be all for this video. Thanks for listening to this one. Hope you have a good day. See ya.